And the other thing they brought was a good commentator, too.
Oh, yeah.
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 That guy's the MVP, bro. He's star of the show.
Welcome to Casual Academy MMA, your deep dive into MMA history, fight by fight. Let's get it all!
We are headed back now to UFC 2, March 11th, 1994. The setting has remained the same. I guess the only city crazy enough to legally sanction human cockfighting in Denver, Colorado.
This time we had a little intricate kickboxing on one of the fights, you know. And the other thing they brought was a good commentator, too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That
guy's the MVP, bro. He's star of the show.
Yeah, well, I have no clue what this guy's name was, but he looks exactly like MacGruber from Saturday Night Live with this ridiculous, absurd hairpiece. But he was like very advanced. He was like felt like a 2007 commentator.
Yeah. He was given like pretty good play-by-play, and they asked him. They were like, "What's going on here?" And he would explain it pretty well.
Yeah, and when he didn't know, he just deflected.
Yeah, he did.
They went in depth on like every single fighting style.
Oh, yes, dude, that like montage of like what these fighting styles were. Yeah, that was very strange. Minoki Ichihara versus Royce Gracie was the first fight. And as usual, you know, Royce Gracie just dominates everybody effortlessly.
There was really nothing to it. Royce mounted him and then just like dominated, and the guy ended up giving an arm. The guy looked like a legit ass martial artist, but he looked like a martial artist, not a mixed martial artist by any stretch. And he was tiny compared to Royce. So this was like the karate versus grappling matchup.
The second fight is Patrick Smith versus Scott Morris. Patrick Smith is a kickboxer. You know, he's 6'2", 220 pounds. And then we got Scott Morris, who's 6 foot, 208. And Scott Morris is the exotic fighter who got fucking mollywhopped. Oh, dude, those elbows were just the most brutal shit on the whole card.
This is like one of the reasons we're fucking even doing this show is like this was absurd.
Yeah.
And
definitely.
Huge takeaway from the night in general watching these fights. Big John McCarthy he wasn't even working.
Bro, it's like there was no ref.
God, this was violent. So what happened was this exotic Scott Morris goes in for the takedown, kind of bear hugs him. Patrick Smith just falls on top of him in full high mount and just starts blasting him with punches. And then these elbows. By the first elbow, he was out and he threw like 3 more.
Yeah, he did. I'm so unbelievably shocked how John McCarthy didn't step in on that earlier. Because, dude, his face was split open after those elbows.
It was disgusting. And he was stumbling all over the ring. He couldn't get up.
Oh, yeah, man. Yeah, that's insane.
Oh,
you could just tell Patrick Smith was like out for blood.
Exotic Scott Smith was the one with that sweet calf slicer. Exotic Scott Morris was the one with that sweet calf slicer rear naked choke from hell.
So fight number 3, we have Johnny Rhodes versus Fred Ettish, and it's karate versus karate. You know, Fred is 6 foot, 180 pounds, and he's a 5th degree black belt, while we have Johnny, who's 6 foot, 210 pounds, and he's a 4th degree black belt.
Okay. So old Fred Ettish comes in looking exactly like Uncle Rico from fucking Napoleon Dynamite. And dude, he was confident. Like and they brought up in the broadcast, they're like, he is fresh. He hasn't fought.
Right.
He's not exhausted like the other guy potentially was. He came in just not looking for a fight. He was straight up at karate practice.
He was, man. He was just throwing these little teep kicks or little side kicks while Johnny Rhodes was trying to take his head off.
Yeah. Johnny Rhodes was actually slinging punches. And did you notice he had his hands like all karate'd out like this?
Oh, Fred did, right?
Yeah.
He was trying to like karate chop and shit. But no, do you remember those knees that Johnny Rhodes landed on him?
Oh, Jesus Christ, dude. Yeah, we were like fucking, ugh.
So he landed 5 consecutive knees to the head.
Every one of which would have been illegal in modern UFC.
Right, yep.
Yeah. Those were bad.
Surprised he didn't finish him with the knees.
No, they must not have been that hard. Honestly, this fight really showcased this dude's heart. I don't think he was going to fucking give up. How did it end?
It ended with him being choked out. Bulldog choke, yeah.
Oh, right, because he straight was asleep. because he tapped. And then by the second tap, okay, yeah.
Yeah, so it was a pretty sweet like submission for a karate guy. You know,
yeah, that was actually.
Fight number 4, which is like the best example of like the olden days or whatever, was just a big weight discrepancy between Orlando Wiet, who's 5'10", 170 pounds, Thai boxer, versus Remco Pardoel, judo practitioner, 6'4", 260 pounds.
I don't want to be exaggerating here, but this fight is similar to like a Shane Carwin or a Brock Lesnar versus like Aljamain Sterling.
Yeah. No. I would say so too. That's about 100 pounds, 110 pounds difference.
And it looked absurd on screen too.
Yeah, I mean, poor Orlando Wiet couldn't really do anything. You know, Pardoel got that side saddle and just threw. You know, he was in the side saddle, and I was like, you know, I'm surprised he's not throwing elbows. And as soon as boom, 2 elbows put poor Orlando out, man.
Yeah, dude, he was. Oh, that's the guy that was out. And once again, Big John, not doing his fucking job. That was maybe more egregious than the first one. Well, luckily that big giant just stopped.
Oh, that's right, he did. Yeah, he stopped and recognized that Orlando was like out. Man, I'm surprised John had a job after that. Honestly, dude.
Now, by the way, this was the debut of Big John McCarthy. We didn't see him at the first one at all, right?
No, we did not.
Was there a ref in the first? Yeah. It was Keith Peterson. He was fucking... They found Keith Peterson at the bar, hammered Texan Dominic Cruz's wife, right. And they brought him in for fucking UFC 1. Yeah, exactly. That's why Keith Peterson looks so good at his age. You know, Keith Peterson's like 86.
No, he's not. Jason DeLucia versus Royce Gracie. And we didn't get to see the first Jason DeLucia fight, which was a little unfortunate because he looked kind of good.
Looked good. He was jacked.
Yeah, I mean, he also fought like kind of intelligent too. Once again, Royce Gracie, you know, got that arm bar like pretty effortlessly. And Jason DeLucia was... what is it, like billed as a kung fu guy, but he had some like decent grappling knowledge.
Pushed him off, and when he was pushing him off, he left his arm exposed. Royce took it, and once again, Royce just ignores people tapping.
Yeah, dude, he kind of did.
Everyone seemed to agree that he broke that dude's arm.
Yeah, I mean, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is just king in this shit right now, man.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, Patrick Smith versus Johnny Rhodes. You know, Patrick Smith actually showed some like decent submission skills. He got a standing guillotine, and he said he was training his grappling after losing to Ken Shamrock. So that was like a little bit of proof of it right there. That wasn't like one-sided at first. I feel like it was a little 50-50 on the feet until it wasn't.
Yeah, they were throwing back and forth. Once they got into the grappling exchange, Patrick Smith, you could tell, just kind of had that guillotine just queued up, locked it in, and then the guy had no choice. I mean, he was tapping with his feet because he didn't even have an arm available, really.
So then, once again, Royce Gracie. But now he's taking on Remco Pardoel, who is about 90 pounds heavier.
Yep.
You know, 6'4", 260 Remco Pardoel.
Yep.
Versus Royce
Another
Gracie.
Basically lightweight. Because remember, they're not cutting weight, so 170 pounds is not just a welterweight. Another basically lightweight versus... a heavyweight. A big heavyweight.
And on paper, man, you would think like Remco would beat Royce. I mean, he was a judo guy, so he knows like grappling, and you're like, what the hell is Royce gonna do with him?
I mean, he fucking got on this guy's back, took him down, had his hooks in, was fucking pulling on the gi and everything. This is just one of those things where you realize, because on top of doing judo, this Remco, what's his name? Remco
Pardoel,
who, by the way, had our boy Gerard Jardot. I'm not going to say our boy. Apparently,
you can't say our boy, dude.
Yeah, apparently that guy's kind of a piece of shit. But old fucking what's his name? He was in
Remco Pardel's corner.
Corner. So maybe that would have done something for him to kind of get an idea of how to face Royce Gracie. It really didn't. And I think what it boils down to is that I think that the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is so much more advanced than Japanese Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah.
And that's what this was, because this guy was judo and Jiu-Jitsu, but not Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And I just think when they get to the actual ground, I think they're just fucking lost.
Yeah. You know, Royce kind of went that same approach in every fight. He did that oblique kick to like get the hips, get the back, and that's it. Rinse and repeat.
You know what? You're very right. Like, no, It really was just about getting in. Mm-hmm. Not far off from Habib.
Oh, yeah.
Not far off from a modern Habib.
But anyway, on to Fight 8, the finals.
This was the worst fucking fight.
It was the worst fight for the final. You know, Patrick Smith came out like gung-ho, you know, in all his fights, ready to just like fuck people up.
Yeah.
He gets to hoist Gracie and just gets obliterated. I mean...
Dude, and I was most excited for this, too. I
thought Patrick Smith would come at him, give him some pressure.
In all fairness, it was not Patrick Smith's fault that it was anticlimactic.
Yeah, you're right.
Because Royce did what Royce does.
Right.
They threw in the fucking towel after he got punched in the face like twice.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. I could not believe they threw in the towel that early.
What do you think UFC 3 is going to look like? I mean, this was like a major evolution until the fight started, and you're like, nope, everyone still fucking doesn't know what they're doing.
I think it's going to be that for a little bit. I don't think it's going to get to like a little more intricate to like UFC 10.
Right.
Right now, you get it to the ground, it's over. There's never been a reversal, I guess, other than Royce and the UFC 1.
Yeah, you're right, man. It hits the ground and it's over.
That's my evolution point, is when people start to get a little combative on the ground.
I will never forget, and this was later on in Tim Sylvia's career, when he fought Big Nog. And Big Nog was like, I played his game for 23 minutes, and he couldn't knock me out.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that quote.
He played my game for 30 seconds, and it was over.
Yeah.
That's like the name of the fucking game in these early UFCs.
Yeah.
If you are going to play Royce's game, you are going to lose by Royce's fucking rules.
Yeah, 100%.
Now, remember, we're only going on the main card. My fight of the night is Johnny Rhodes versus Fred Ettish, because it was two karate practitioners, and you saw the fight get a little bit dynamic. You saw a few punches on the feet, a few kicks on the feet. You saw it get to the ground, and it didn't just end right on the ground because it wasn't Royce versus someone. They scrambled. It's hard to even call it scrambling. They fucking rolled around for a little bit until Fred Ettish died.
Yeah. That is the only like back and forth, I think, out of any of these fights.
Yeah.
So that would have to be fight of the night.
Patrick Smith versus Scott Morris gets knocked out of the night, and that's a legit knockout of the night.
Oh,
That would have
sure.
stood out today.
Oh yeah, definitely. It was one of the most brutal shit I've probably ever seen.
Also, the fucking Bystander of the Year award goes to John McCarthy for just sitting there and watching it.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Who do you got for submission of the night?
To me, that's easy. I thought that was fucking Royce and Jason DeLucia.
Oh, that's interesting. You got that for your submission. I got Royce versus, what is it, Pardoel? The big guy, when he got the gi choke. I thought the gi choke was just kind of unique, so that's why I give it to him.
You, at this point, you simply cannot deny that Royce Gracie is in some way relevant as the greatest fighter on earth.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
I'm sure there's some historian out there who's like, no, this organization was happening and it was much better. From what we know, it was Royce. Does anybody else stand out on that top 10 list to you?
I want to say maybe Patrick. Was it Patrick Smith? Just because he ran through everybody in UFC 1. Well, I guess he lost to Ken. And then he fucked people up here until he ran into Royce. You're losing to Ken and Royce. That's pretty good company to lose to. But
how do you not go immediately to Ken as number 2 then?
Because he didn't fight in UFC 2.
Oh, right.
But I'm not crazy about that opinion. But if there's anybody else, that's who I would think.
Yeah. Honestly, man, I thought Kevin Rozier was I kind of had him pegged for comeback of the year. I got Royce Gracie as the number 1 pound for pound right now.
Undoubtedly.
At this point, there's no debate.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
not. Yeah. So, cool.
But that was UFC 2, We'll see if Royce keeps it going for UFC 3.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's going to be in Denver again. More elevation,
Yeah, that's crazy.
Who knows?
Cool. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in to Casual Academy. As always, you can find us on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok, and on X, formerly Twitter, at Casual Academy MMA. If you want to follow along, please like and subscribe to our videos. It does help out the channel, and it will also give you those new sweet, sweet tips on fight history. So if you want to hop into the time machine with us, Click that bell, baby. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.